Hi friends, my name is Suraj and I'm back with another video. Today we're going to learn about mixins, how we can implement in Sass, Sass and less. At first we're going to learn about Sass, Scss. So before starting there are a couple of issues we do have in our development code. Let's first correct it. Instead of Sass, it should be less and include paths in both Sass and less works in similar way. There is not much of a change, but for cleaning the code and referring to the specific plugins that we are using, we are changing it to less. First, we need to start it. Uh, First, we need to check everything is working fine. If we compile this, it is working fine. Now, what happening? In earlier, we also tried to correct that it should show only the file that we have changed. But as per our changes, what happening? We are targeting all the files, but we are compiling only the master file, style.less or style.sass. So what we need to do, we need to also take care of that. Each of the files we're going to modify or make changes, it should also reflect in the command line. For that, we need to write a couple of changes over here. So we need to use gulp util. There is a function called onChange in gulp where we're going to define a functionality where each of the files is going to change. It should print the name of the file is being changed. So let's write the code for that. There's a parameter we are passing. It's called file. With this, we're going to track the files that is being changed. Let's do the same for Sass and Sass. Stop the server and restart again. Now if we're going to make any changes into this one, suppose in red I'm going to write blue. See, now we are getting the file is being changed. Instead of that, if I'll make the changes in reset, boom, now it's reflecting the changes of each of the file that we are making, but the destination file is style.sass, scss. So we are done with the changes, the small change. Do note, gulp util comes with the gulp package. Earlier we used to install it separately, but now it is coming with the gulp. Now the next thing is we're going to learn about mixins. So what is mixin? A mixin allows to create reusable chunks of CSS Being able to do this help us to avoid writing repetitive code. So best example is when we do write code, the separation of code is very important. So we are able to do this, and the same code we can utilize in few different places. So let's take an example for this one. I'm going to create a Mixin file, and this file I'm going to import it over here. Mixin. Now we're going to create a simple Mixin. What it does, whichever the block level element, if you apply this will put that element into the center. Mixin we create using the @ keyword followed by the Mixin. Force auto. And I'm creating this Mixin with the name called force auto. Do note, when I write this means this keyword margin is being concatenated with left and right. So what happened when I call this one, it will write something like this. So let's start with this. Now we need to call it over here. I am creating a simple auto center class. We need to use include keyword with @ sign. Mixin this one force auto, right? Now I saved it. If you see the output, boom, this is coming this way. Now we're going to apply it for the testing. Reset, we're going to change it to 0. It compiled fine. Now go to the HTML. We're going to write a div. It's for test. If I test it, it's coming fine. Now we need to put this in center. Put a center. We change it to blue and it's still coming red. Scss.css. Okay. Due to the browser cache, it is causing the issue. Now it worked fine. Auto center is not working. What happening? By default, the div is taking the 100%. So what we're going to do, we're going to mark it with equal to 700 pixel. Now I'm going to save it. When I refresh, boom. Now this is the center of the page. If you're able to test it, we're going to check it. See the highlighted one, this one, okay. Now it's into the center. This is how we create a reusable mixin. Now with the use of this one, we can apply to any of the block level element and it will work. Now let's talk about links. If we're going to create the dynamic links, for this we're going to create another thing. This would be easier to maintain. This is how we define variable. It should be a start with $sign. Save it. Now the variables we are going to use across all the mixins. The variable we're going to use across all the pages, so it should be imported at the top. And now we're going to use over here color. Compile. This worked fine. Come over here. Boom. Now this got worked. Now suppose I'm creating links. Let's create a couple of links so it would be easier. Now we got this 3 links. Put this all into one, so it should lock. Putting this all into one, so it should look wise. Now this is how our links are coming up. These are not even though visible. So what we're going to do, if we're going to create a dynamic mixin that will take care of this links and their respective activity colors like visited, hover or active. So let's create a mixin for that. Going with a mixin, create another mixin. Link color. Now what happened here in mixin, we going to treat this as a function. We can pass parameters how this function will behave. Similarly what we define in languages such as Java, C#. So let's create the function. And keyword use over here as a concatenation with different properties of the anchor link. Let's write that. . Similarly, we're going to repeat for active and hover. Now the next step is we need to include this link. So copy this one over here, comes to style and write it. Now let's save it. If we check, the file got compiled. Now if you see this, see how it's working. Like I said, using end keyword, what happen? It will concatenate with each of the property. Okay. So now let's go ahead and test in browser. Okay. See, over it's coming red. If we click, it is coming yellow. So once it got visited, it's changed to green, right? So this is how we can define reusable mixin. So using this anchor mixin, we can define n number of different element specific links. Let's give you one more example. Come over here and I am going to create custom button. Okay. Now come over here. Suppose I am using the same color. I have compiled it. See how this one is working. So this is how we define the mixins. Most important, the way we want to use the same logic again and again in different elements. Now the next thing is, similarly we're going to apply for Sass, Sass. So let's go ahead and do the same for this. As you know, this is the indentation based. So similarly we're going to write the mixins over here, paste it. No quotes, and here we need to replace, there is no need to mention this. Okay, now let's save it. It's got saved, file got changed. Let's see the output. Import mixin. Okay, we need to include it over here, right? Same copy from here. Save it. It's got saved. Boom. Same thing working here as well without any issue. Let's move ahead and define the same for less. First test this. As this one working fine, I have compiled it. Okay, the standard list is done. Okay, this one is coming fine, right? Now let's go. Now let's define the mixin for less. Let's define a simple mixin called border radius. We'll pass some function. Do note over here, instead of $sign, we need to use @sign. Custom border radius. Custom border radius. Simple way to pass radius, and we need to include it over here. Ten pixel. Save it. If we see, button radius, it's giving me error. Which file it is there? Style.less. Custom border radius. Custom border radius. It's done. Now if you'll check, boom. Now this one is coming dynamic. So this is how we do it in Sass, Sass and this. This is very basic. Once we move ahead with the advanced topic, then we're going to cover different aspect of using the mixins, such as extending, how to use inheritance, this kind of things. Have a wonderful day. Tally ho!